Hello everyone, I am once again joined by my father for another movie review. Say hi, Dad.
Hi.
In today's video, we're going to talk about Kong Skull Island from 2017. This is not necessarily a sequel to Peter Jackson's 2005. This is like another reboot in its own thing. Wasn't this movie awesome, Dad?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it was the best Kong movie since the original.
Absolutely, it's my second favorite Kong film since the original.
Mm-hmm.
What I really loved about this film is that it doesn't like do all the cliches, Beauty and the Beast. It's like its own thing, which is what I really loved about it.
Yeah, it's an original story. It doesn't follow the pattern.
No.
With capturing Kong and bringing him to America.
No, not at all.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. In the way, the way this movie looked and was like Apocalypse Now, but as a King Kong type of film.
Yeah, it definitely had that feel to it.
Yeah, it did. Also, the characters were great and stuff. And John C. Reilly. I remember when I first this was a movie when I first saw the trailer and heard about it. First, I'm thinking, all right, another King Kong. I had my doubts about it. I was a little bit skeptical, and when I saw John C. Reilly in the trailer, I'm thinking, oh no, is he gonna make try too hard, be over the top? But no, he's actually really good in this movie.
He was excellent.
Yeah, he was. I mean, a little humorous at times, but still done very well because he plays a World War II vet who's been on the island since 1944, and he's got all the being on the island and isolated and trapped and not knowing what's going on in the world has really made him a little bit, has gotten him psychologically.
Yeah.
And I thought it was funny when they're getting prepared like a boat, and Tom Hiddleston's character is explaining to him what's going on in the world that he doesn't know about, Vietnam, the Cold War, first moon landing, and when he tells him how we're in a Cold War with Russia, and he goes, "Oh, they take the summer off."
Right. Yeah. That was funny.
It was. Or when we put a man in the moon, oh, did they leave him there? if they left Neil Armstrong on the moon, he'd be dead.
Yeah, that's for sure.
How when not understanding what a Cold War means. It's not necessarily a fighting war. It's more a disagreement war.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also, what do you think of the other characters, Tom Hiddleston, Sam Jackson, John Goodman's characters?
Yeah, I enjoyed all the characters.
So did I.
Samuel Jackson as usual is terrific.
He is. He's a great actor,
and it was really well done. And the CGI was terrific.
It was. It
really was fantastic. I can't praise it enough.
For some reason, I liked this Kong version a lot more than I did Peter I mean, the look. I mean, and
yes,
and like you say, he's not as damaged like he was in the Peter Jackson.
He seems to be a younger Kong.
Yeah,
in this one.
yeah. Mm-hmm. And also, he looked a little bit more sculpted compared to.
Yeah. And they had some interesting creatures there.
He did, which I agree.
And the fights that went on between Kong and the creatures.
Yeah, those were awesome.
Really well done.
Oh, they were. I liked how when one of the soldiers saw him fight this. They don't really identify what the creatures are called, so I can't really have a. No. They're not dinosaurs, that's for sure. But
no, they're not true dinosaurs.
No. One thing I noticed though, one of them threw up a skeleton. Yep, meat eaters.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The soldier looks at him panic and shocked, oh my god, what did I just and he's fighting an big giant octopus, and I made a joke, tastes like chicken.
Yeah.
And he's dragging the octopus leftovers.
Yeah, and the sets were great.
Oh, they were
jungle
excellent.
Sets,
right.
It was really very well done.
Would you say that this kind of had some, because it does take place in the 70s, it had some similarities of the 70s, even though this is not a reboot to that, but it had that the vibe to it, a little bit of references to the 70s Kong a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I guess because it was in the same time period.
Yeah.
But I think the total production was a lot better.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and unlike the original and that 70s Kong, they were looking for oil or something, whereas in this movie they're just they think that these monsters that have been around way longer before mankind, they think that they're gods, and that they think that they're on their territory, that they're that they are the whatchamacallit, the real what's the word I'm looking for? If I have to edit that part out, but anyway, yeah, if it's Basically, they think that Kong and those other monsters were around longer before mankind.
And you know, Samuel L. Jackson has a revenge
Yeah,
part of his character,
yeah,
which drives the movie along.
yeah. I love like those shots of like where he like wants to like fight and destroy Kong, like the fires and
Mm-hmm.
Tom Hiddleston like trying to stop him, like trying to help him understand that Kong was misunderstood. He was only protecting, well, which is true.
Yeah.
They were invading King Kong's. It's kind of like the creature from the Black Lagoon a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
They were invading his territory.
Right.
Yeah. I also thought that shot was cool when Hiddleston and Brie Larson's character. It's nighttime. They see Kong. At first, they're a little bit scared, but once they see how friendly he is, he's not. They're like, okay, he's not as like dangerous as.
Right.
Yeah. I think it's also funny how like you like half these actors in the film, like half of them were like in Marvel films. Like you have Tom Hiddleston, Brie Larson, Captain Marvel, and Sam Jackson, Nick Fury, and John C. Reilly was in Guardians of the Galaxy, and
Right. Mm-hmm.
and it's funny how like this is a reverse though, because in the Marvel films, Tom Hiddleston is Loki, he's the bad guy, but instead he's the. It was like I remember when I saw this in the theater, I'm like, what a reverse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sam Jackson's the bad guy and Hiddleston's the good guy.
Mm-hmm.
You're not used to that.
No. And there was a little bit of a nod to Ann Darrow there in
Yeah,
the
a little
scene that
bit.
you mentioned, where there's a connection between
A little bit.
Brie Larson's character
Yeah.
and Kong.
But still not like the cliche Beauty and the
No.
Beast.
No.
He just saves her from drowning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know why at the time I didn't like rewatch it. I'm like, oh, okay, he does, because in like a lot of King Kong movies, he always grabs the female
Mm-hmm.
character, and like no, he doesn't do it in this one. But oh no, I was wrong. He does do it in this one.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. There's this YouTube channel called How It Should Have Ended, like a parody about like this is how the movie should have ended, instead of like they did like a parody of this movie where like a parody of like Nick Fury showed up at the end, like a parody to the Marvel films,
Mm-hmm.
which I
Yeah,
thought was
yeah.
very clever and
Yeah.
pretty fun,
Mhm.
and it worked. It's like makes sense because Sam Jackson's in this movie, plays
Right.
Nick Fury in the Marvel films, where
Right.
he has a post-credit cameo like, oh, we want you to be in the Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of the way this movie, if you haven't seen the movie, stop it right here. I want to talk about this part. I remember when I saw this in the theater, I knew about the post credit, but I didn't know what to expect. And I love it how where you see Tom Hiddleston's character and Brie Larson's character, where they're at like some like FBI headquarters where they think like, okay, we'll keep this a secret. We won't tell like society what we just saw, what we witnessed, or what we experienced. And I don't know what that black guy's name was, and he I know he was in Straight Outta Compton playing Dr. Dre in that film. He shows like footage of Godzilla, the classic Toho monster, King Ghidorah, Mothra. They're like this is only the beginning. King Kong's not the only one that exists, and
Right.
yeah. Then it ends with Godzilla's, where I'm like, oh, this is the Toho Cinematic Universe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they. I was reading on IMDb that this is the largest Kong,
Right.
the largest sized Kong
Right.
in all the movies, and they did that in preparation for a matchup
Right.
between Godzilla and King Kong. So they would be about the same size.
Right.
Mhm.
Well, it's also not that this is going to be a future review. I just want to mention briefly how, and it's funny because at that time when they announced King Kong versus Godzilla, it was going to be released in 2020, but little did we know at that time there was going to be a pandemic, and
Yeah.
yeah. And I remember when I finally saw King Kong versus Godzilla after when COVID semi was slowing down, I remember thinking to myself, why did they not bring back Tom Hiddleston and Brie Larson, even though despite this is the 70s, they would have been older characters in that film.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I would have loved to have seen it. They like maybe teamed up with like certain characters, what we saw in the recent Godzilla films. But
Right. Mm-hmm.
and also, even though I love this movie, I'm surprised we haven't had a sequel to this.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
Because I would love. I don't know whether because Kong, they're not going to deal with it unless Kong is fighting Godzilla. But who the heck knows?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Hopefully, eventually.
Well, it sounded like, from the post credits that it was going to be something that was going to involve other monsters
Right.
from that universe.
Right. Would you say like this sort of like I mean, I love Marvel movies, but I feel like the recent like MCU films have not been like
Mhm.
the same as the first other ones.
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of lost track of those.
No, same.
Yeah, so
And I do love Marvel. I do love the comic books. I enjoy the MC universe. Just because after the time like when COVID happened, I lost track, and
mhm.
there's just like it's an overload. But that's a different topic, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So this is definitely a movie worth seeing.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
I loved it from like start to finish. I was just like jaw drop, like how awesome it was. I was
Mhm.
like really like engaged with it. I was like I was like really like I wasn't disappointed from start to finish. I was like
Mhm.
100% really animated about into this
Yeah.
film.
Mhm.
Yeah. I want more though. That's the
Yeah,
because
it'll be coming, I'm sure.
I hope so. Is once it comes again, gonna go see it right away when it comes out. Future review on the channel, that's for sure.
Mhm.
And you in the
Mhm.
because I love King Kong films so much. They're
Mhm.
fun. Well, this and the original are my top two favorite of King Kong movies. Wouldn't you
Mhm.
agree?
I agree.
Yeah. Any other thoughts about the film? Or we've
No, no, I don't have anything else.
all right. I guess that wraps it up. Like the video, subscribe, stay tuned for more upcoming reviews. Say bye, Dad.
Take care.